Hit me!
Episode 409.
You've got to throw some cold water on the situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
God damn it.
System activate. Hit me!
Episode 409.
You've got to throw some cold water on the situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
Hit me!
Episode 409.
You've got to throw some cold water on the situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
This is Mark Evan Jackson from Everything. You're listening to NetHeads.
At least I hope you are. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Another edition of NetHeads once again. Giving it our best shot, if you will. Hopefully everything's coming through fine and there's no echo and there's no craziness because, you know, when you're streaming live, the sky is the limit, but anything can happen. If you want to take part in the program, you can one of many ways. Just join the chat wherever you're actually able to see this, because I have no idea at this point where it's going out. So we will just, you know, we're going to run with it, guys. This is what it is. And you know, the nice thing is for our Patreon subscribers, who are the ones that get the bonus content before and after the show, you get to hear not only the entire fiasco, but you get to try and you get it delayed because it's going to take me forever now to piece those bits together. But you know what, like I said, is what it is. But you know, wherever you're chatting, please throw a hashtag NetHeads in it for me if you could. I would greatly appreciate it. That way, it lets everyone know that you are engaging with NetHeads, and it tells the world, hey, you know what? Give it a shot, guys, and that's what we want. So, you know, anyway, welcome, thank you. Gonna briefly hear myself for just a moment. You are engaging with audio's good, we're good, everything's good. I am literally fresh from wolfing down a chicken sandwich and quickly trying to get in here to do NetHeads because I just came from a 3:30 p.m. screening of, not screening, it was a showing. Screening implies somebody else paid for it. You just got to sit down. No, I paid to see the movie, Fantastic Four First Steps, which I will go into briefly in a bit, in a spoiler-free fashion, and give you my thoughts about the movie. I will not bury the lead. Spoilers, I really enjoyed it, but we'll get into it a little bit more. And like I said, if you want to take part in the program, you can, hashtag NetHeads. You can also be like Mark Wright, our Patreon subscriber of the week. Mark is the person that we are highlighting this week. He supports the program, and all of the program improvements we make, contrary to what you've seen here prior, we make via our Patreon subscribers. So everything that happens there helps fund the podcast and, you know, makes it available to everyone. But our Patreon subscribers also do get free content from the opening of the program and the closing of the program. Who knows what way that's going to go? Because when I release, like, this audio is 2 false starts and a headache away. from even being a proper beginning. But you know what? It's okay. Is what it is. There's not much we can do. I'm trying to also update a thing for the Patreon subscribers, so that way, because referencing the link of where we were, now it's the link of where we are. I hope. I just don't know anymore. But part of the reason is because I had the entire PC rebuild that we talked about on the last episode, if not 2 episodes prior. We tried to give it an enema, and naturally, as such, then everything's shitty. So, is what it is. But I did see Fantastic Four First Steps. As you can also see, I did have fun 3D printing. Now, I got to be honest. Whenever these type of things happen, I usually set an unrealistic goal, and I try and 3D print something in honor of it. So that way I can do something along the lines of, creating content that might be buzzworthy. I don't really do it to do it. Although I will say that with the Fantastic Four logo, I loved the retro feel that they were introducing to us before you even have a chance to see the movie. And in case you guys haven't noticed, I really have kind of started a collection of crests now. So I will be hanging these on our wall. And I will say right now, both of these movies made me smile. Every single one of them. Every single one of them, of the 2 in my hands. I was holding up the Superman logo for those of you listening to the podcast. But this will be going up on the wall. And as a matter of fact, as previously mentioned, Patreon subscriber of the week, Mark Wright. I'm not sure if he is one of the people that got this, but we just did something exciting this past week. We finally got a bunch of rewards out in the mail. And 2 of the 3 I can share with you. Actually, 2 of the 4. 3 of the 4, a bunch of them. I can share these with you so you can see what people were getting. Now, there are different tiers, of course, on our Patreon, much in the same way that everyone else's Patreon is also built. But there is a level where you do get physical rewards, and there's still even a tier above that one. And so when it comes to that, that means there's 2 tiers that get some fun stuff. It's listed annually right now because I realize, boy, you're really, you're a cool dude, but you're just not coming through, man. You are not coming through. You're not delivering the way you're supposed to. But boy, did I deliver. So of the people of the upper tier that actually are supposed to get physical rewards, when the rewards went out, I sent them with some bonus stuff. Now, one of the first things that people finally are getting their hands on, and I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this for anyone that is an active Patreon subscriber, and you're like, I didn't get the stuff yet. My apologies, especially Mark Wright. He's and Paul. He's Canadian. Mark Wright is in the UK. Geek Renderer, dude, it's on the way. I can't remember which version you got, but what I can guarantee you is a postcard from me, which more on that later for Patreon subscribers after the show. But the limited edition NetHeads Challenge Coin, Patreon exclusive. You have to be a Patreon subscriber to get this. And every Patreon subscriber gets one of these, okay? Part of the reason why is because I still have quite a few of the challenge coins. But the other reason, too, is that if I want them to keep the mold for another 2 years, I'm going to have to buy more. So I need more Patreon subscribers because I'm definitely going to have more challenge coins. But also, one of the things that is available to you that you will be receiving in the mail if you are a Patreon subscriber. I know I took one out already, but now I'm going to try and take out another one. Excuse me while I whip this out. This, I am tickled pink with how well it came out. I was not expecting, because this was okay. The challenge coin was okay. The detail is good, but it because of the complexity of the brain logo, it can be a little daunting to translate into a media other than printed. But lo and behold, folks, this I am so thrilled about. It is the NetHeads lapel pin. And look at the detail. The word NetHeads pops out really well. You can still see the intricate brain pattern. I mean, That's a humdinger. You know what I'm saying? That right there, kids, is a humdinger. This makes me happier than all get out. And I will say too that not a Patreon exclusive, because in order to get this, I had to order 250 of them. So maybe we'll start making the Patreon a little sweeter by ensuring that you also get. I don't know though. Honestly speaking, I'm tempted to just level the entire Patreon to one level, and it's like you get what you get, and that's it. Whatever I do. But those two things went out. There is also a keychain. I don't have an example of it. It's okay. It doesn't look very good, okay, because it is just 3D printed on a filament printer, and the quality's not so hot. You can't print the brain. Excuse me. So it looks more like I'm trying to rip off the London Underground's branding, because it's just NetHeads on a circle on a circle. You're like, what are you going to do? Come out next with something that has the Fortnite crown on it and say, what is it? Be calm and carry on, or stay calm and carry on. Well, you're going to rip those things off. But when you see me holding up this Superman emblem, the Foken that are supposed to get the physical rewards, you guys got a mini version of this. I printed up a bunch of minis of this bad boy. And, I'm not saying I'm going to print up a bunch of minis of the Fantastic Four logo, but there is a chance, guys. There is a chance, I'm just saying. It's probably a high likelihood, because I don't know when I will use this shade of blue ever again. This is more in line with the advertising. It's not more... At least it's the best match I could for the color of blue. Interestingly enough, in the news this week, one of the things that was revealed by the producers and the director of the movie. Hey, there you go. Keep calm and NetHead on. Yeah, we'll do that one next. But they revealed that they looked at so many shades of blue, and they decided on blue shade number 9, which tells us absolutely nothing unless you have a full index, and it's like explicitly this, like if I tell you Carolina blue, that's a blue that's mostly associated with, you see. So, if I tell you cobalt, if I tell you is it azure? I'm not sure what. Either way, those call to mind blue. This particular blue that is present on the Superman emblem is, I believe, Old Glory blue from our good friends at Sliceworks. By the way, if you are a 3D printer, you are a person that has a filament printer, one of the most common name brands, one of the things I can definitely tell you is to dip your toe into the world of Sliceworks. That's Sliceworks with an X. Use the link in my in the show description, and use the code ThatWillWilkins, and I believe you can get 5% off of your purchase. Why would you want to do that? Well, there's a few reasons why. One of them is because high quality filament that they make here in the United States of America. So if you're like, go America, I want American made products, Sliceworks filament is wonderful. It prints real nice, prints real smooth, and it's made here in America. But also, they have their triple dipped cool plates, as I like to call them now, which is triple dipped in polymer to make sure it's a very sticky build plate. Because one of the things, when you're looking at something like this Fantastic Four logo that's very flat, right? The whole point is it is very flat. It not only was it printing, but it held to the build plate very well, very sticky, very hard to get things off of this build plate, which is by design. So that way you don't have things falling around. You don't have prints lifting up. You don't need a raft or a brim in order to ensure you get a good print. And that's what their triple dipped plates do. They're super sticky and wonderful. They also have a great subscription box service where you get 2 quality filaments every month, new filaments through the end of the year. This isn't the stuff that people didn't buy. Not only is it a solid color and typically a multicolor filament, but they're always going to give you a tool as well, some type of useful extra. Last month, it was actually an extra roll of filament because they gave us red, white, and blue. as you may or may not have seen from some of the things I printed. But this month, it will be 2 filaments and an extra that will make your life easier in the world of 3D printing. And I believe it's going to be maintenance multi-tools that are coming out in the next month's box. Now, I think in order to get the subscription, you have to order before the 16th. So again, link in bio, go to SliceWorks, check out all the cool stuff that they offer, get something extra, get the subscription box if you're like me and you're burying yourself in filament anyway. You might as well get some cool stuff with it. So yeah, hit the link in the description, or you can just go to thatwillwilkins.com and it'll take you all the relative links and codes and all that wonderful kind of thing. Okay, let's not bury the lead anymore. Let's get into what else I printed. I got to show you guys this, and then I'll get into the review. Now, 3D printing is always right before one of the movies comes out. I'm doing it for content, so I'm trying to do things to gain attention. But I just need to show you something as well. I often joke about the size that I have a big head. Okay? I'm not going to lie. I do have a big head. And I don't mean from ego. I just mean in general. So one of the things that I 3D printed, it's been available for almost a year at do3d.com or many other 3D printing websites, but it was the Dr. Doom helmet. Now, again, you gotta do test runs. You gotta measure things. You gotta weigh them out, right? So what I did is I finally 3D printed a Dr. Doom mask. Why? Because again, Dr. Doom is damn near synonymous with the Fantastic Four. You all the way back to the Roger Corman, not really published, but still out there Fantastic Four movie. Dr. Doom was the villain. When you got into the Fox movies, Fantastic Four, Dr. Doom was the villain. Even with Fan Four Stick, that movie, the first villain, Dr. Doom. So, because last year at Comic-Con, they revealed Robert Downey Jr., new mask, same task. I'm like, okay, I want a gripping thumbnail. Seriously. I did it for this. I did it for the thumbnail. I did it so I could wear a green hood, wear the Dr. Doom mask, and try to get people to watch the podcast, okay? To pick this thumbnailed item out of everything else. This thing looks good. For a practical print right off the build plate, it looks nice. It's shiny. It's okay. I didn't size it up. Now, typically, I find that somewhere between 108 and 111%, depending on the print, is the amount that I need to blow something up. So I need it to be 8 to 11% bigger. And I went through the entire process of printing this mask, which I believe was 8 hours on my Creality K2 Plus 3D printer. And, well, you can't really see it here, but if I turn this way a little bit, I think you start to pick up on the fact this may not fit. And I'm also not saying how, but one of our lucky Patreon subscribers will become the owner of this print. That is a Dr. Doom mask that does not fit. And so I sized it up to 108% because my head is 8% bigger than the average head, I guess. God only knows what that means it weighs. And by the way, here it is. I'll show you the quality of the print in a moment. First, let's just look at the fact that I can literally fit the one mask inside of the other one, almost to the point of it being flush. You can almost fit another face inside of the face that I'm going to put inside of this mask. So here it is at 108% markup. I also increased the printing temperature so that way we could get a little more shine. There is some banding here, even though I simplified the model. But as you can see, this one actually fits, right? Now, I'm not going to do the entire show with this thing on my face because that's just impractical. And plus, it'll sound like I'm talking to you through a hockey mask the entire time. But I just wanted to do something to grab the thumbnail. And I hope I did not give anybody the impression that I was implying that Doctor Doom is in this movie, because I'm not. And again, this is a spoiler-free zone. We're not going to be talking about anything that is either not already seen in a trailer, or we're just going to keep it vague. We're just going to speak high level. It's a spoiler-free zone. This is a safe space, kids. I got into the same discussion I always get in with my wife. Interestingly enough, by the way, I saw it Fantastic Four at a 3:30 showing. 3:30 in the afternoon. You're like, Will, don't you have a job? Yes, I started working at 5 a.m. Don't judge me. But the other interesting thing is that, like, up until I think Monday, you can still get maybe 2 or 3 seats together in the movie theater I went to see it at. When I went to check, like about 30 minutes before the movie, because my daughter's dental cleaning finished up much faster than we anticipated. So I'm asking my wife, do you want to go? My daughter, my 11-year-old, really did not want to go. We were contemplating, is this the time we just let her stay home alone? You know, or are we at that point? Can we do this? And then I sure enough, I dialed up the old AMC app and I went to go to do a little shopping and to look for it. And you know what I found? I'll tell you what I found. I found a theater that was practically sold out. No seats together, just a mere spattering of seats. So that tells me that I believe the buzz is afoot. It's still summer in the area, but it was a mixed audience of definitely younger and older alike, which I'm not surprised because much like Superman, the Fantastic Four it's a known brand, right? It is identifiable. There's obviously been other movies involving the Fantastic Four, so everybody has a certain level of familiarity with it, or there's a large amount and wide, diverse audience. Everybody, I think everybody basically has a bit of a chance to have experience with it. So I'm not surprised that it, much like Superman, filled up. 3:30 on a Thursday, though, that was a little shocking, especially considering I live in a commuter town. I'd try extruding the middle of the nose a little on the Doom mask for a little more nose room. Oh no, I'm okay. It's fine. Trust me. There's actually plenty of room in here. The other reason why I had to go so big on this is because of these indented cheeks that the mask has, because those suckers they cut right in. But if I had attached the strap, because it does have, you can see spots for the strap, I could easily just have this on my face the whole time. Anyway, Fantastic Four, I think the buzz has paid off. Now, if you've been living under a rock, this movie has been the premiere, which I'm completely shocked that I forgot about this. I think it was either Monday night or Tuesday night. The world premiere was live streamed on Disney Plus. This was a first for Disney Plus. Like I said, I totally forgot about it. I actually went to TikTok around the time that it should be happening. I'm like, you know what? No, I feel like I should be seeing something right now, and it's not there, because everything else Marvel has been red carpeted or blue carpeted or purple carpeted or whatever, you know, on the various streaming sites. But this, no. This was exclusive to Disney Plus. How well did it go as a live stream? I have no idea. I loaded it up. I tried watching it for 3 minutes after the fact, because you can still check it out now if you want to. I mainly got looped in because they said that we would be able to see 5 minutes of the movie. 5 minutes of new footage that we've never seen before. So I'm like, okay. I loaded it up. I heard Natasha Lyonne. I heard Pedro Pascal. I watched the clip. So I don't know how successful this was as a venture for Disney Plus. I hope it went well for them, because, you know, naturally I want things to work out for them, because they make these movies that I really, really like. Geek Renderer bringing up in the chat, by the way, that my mask looks like it is a fantastic fit. It is, much in the same way that this movie is. If you've seen anything from the ads, if you've read anything from any articles, they made a very interesting creative decision with this movie, Fantastic Four: First Steps. That was to have it exist in one of these. It's definitely part of the multiverse saga, right? Because this is a story that is told in an entirely different reality than the main MCU timeline that we're used to, the reality that we live in. They refer to it as the 616. I don't want to debate it. I don't care. It's the MCU reality, whatever number it is. But they call it 616. This one happens. I won't tell you the number, but it happens obviously in an alternate reality with a retro future 1960s vibe for this movie. It's simpler times, simpler world, but somehow amazingly with really great technology. In some ways, I'm sure there are a lot of people who would like to live in this world. And if it represented the wonderful values that I hold dear, maybe. But I think it was an excellent choice, not just because it gave them an excuse to engage Matt Shakman to direct this movie, who was the creative driving force behind WandaVision, another big fan favorite from the multiverse saga in the way of entertainment. But I feel that the entire story is very well suited because it happens in this retro 60s world. I think that it is a great idea from the standpoint of separating this Fantastic Four movie from any other Fantastic Four movie that's happened. It automatically tells you've got to shift your perspective. You have to change your perception of what a Fantastic Four movie is. And it's a good damn time. It's a good damn time. I also think that it benefits from existing in this retro 60s world because it's a great way for those that go deep in the Fantastic Four lore or perhaps read the comics growing up. It kind of sets the Marvel's first family inside of the realm where they were introduced. So a lot of the things that historically are Fantastic Four-ish definitely play very well in this retro world. Much in the same way that, for me, what is the name of it? It's a Wonderful Life it's a wonderful snapshot of a specific time in Americana, and it represents a much simpler time. I think that the large stakes that are at play in this movie are very well balanced against this retro 60s reality. Taking that step back to also remove us from the world around us definitely helps. It definitely plays very, very well in this movie. The other thing too, this is one of those ways that I prefer to review a movie because I think it's a very important element. And I experienced this when I watched Thunderbolts. I experienced this when I watched Superman, and now I have experienced it watching Fantastic Four. There were very little to no lulls for me. I was in the third act of this movie and not even realizing we're already into the third act of this movie. And third act, for those that don't know, in a movie, that is the final chapter of the story in this little book of a story the movie's telling you. And with this one, I did not realize, or I did not expect that we were already in the third act. That's how much the story brought me in. I will also say that it is a great story that starts and doesn't really let up. Okay. It happens, you're in it, and then you're going. So, I like it. I like that. I like that the less time you give me to think, the less I'm going to try and predict what may happen in the story. But also, obviously, if I am engaged to that point, then you're doing something damn good. And this movie, in my opinion, does it. It does a lot of good. Visually speaking, the movie in itself is stunning. I think it's another excellent example, much in the same way that we got from the Superman movie. And actually from Thunderbolts. It's a larger amount of practical effects that are being used. They're dialing things back, and they are starting to use more real world things. I know H.E.R.B.I.E in this movie, the robot sidekick. I'm sure it is a balance between CG and practical, but if there's not a lot about it that's practical, I'd be shocked. In the Superman movie, the super robots, again, those were practical. And when something is tangible in the real world, that makes it easier when you're trying to take the story in to set aside the uncanny valley and just become engrossed in the movie. And this one does it so much so that I was very excitedly pleased to learn in the past week that the Fantastic Four spaceship that is in this movie, was it I don't know if it was called the Excalibur or the Excelsior. Either one I'll happily take. I wish it was the Excelsior though, just because of the Stan Lee of it all. I will say that that spaceship was actually, they did a miniature of it, but not a miniature, you know what I mean? It's like, given the size of the ship, I don't know what scale it was, but you know, it was just obviously not built to scale, but model wise, it was a really cool thing to know that they did that, because again, something tangible in the real world is much easier for your mind to accept. You know, unless you're watching the first Jurassic Park, that movie right there in itself is just, it's a good blend of computer graphics we had never seen and practical puppeteering as well for the dinosaurs. So that balance helps, and it definitely, I believe, helped this movie. And also just visually stunning. Obviously, doing a period piece is not cheap, but I think they found a way to where they were able to shoot it, make it believable, make it fun, and you know, the whole thing too is it looks clean. It's cleaner, because I don't know, back in the day maybe things were cleaner, but it really is. It's just, again, it harkens back to a simpler time. But sitting back from the movie, I appreciate what they were able to do and how they were able to do it. Although I think like the only thing I butted up against in this movie is in one scene, I'm like, wait a second, is this part of the same scene, same set that they used for the big end fight on the street for Deadpool and Wolverine? Gave that same kind of vibe, that same kind of perspective to me. So I'm like, is that it? Only thing that really took me out of the movie in relation to these sets. I also, when it comes to it being a good story, there's not a lot left on the table. If they introduce something, they're using something. And that is true in almost every element. They always say in a story, if you're going to show a bomb, you have to show an explosion. And this movie did not leave much hanging in the wind. No. If it was in the story, it was being used, and it was being used well. I think, admittedly, one of my biggest reservations going into this was the thought of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, and he surprised me. Pedro Pascal's performance actually surprised me. Acting is a series of choices. The choices he made, I think, were a great blend of probably who Pedro Pascal is and who he could play Reed Richards as. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't trying to be anyone else's Reed Richards. He wasn't obviously trying to emulate anyone else's performance. But this was a fresh take on the character that I really dug, because the biggest problem, I think, when you read the comic books about the Fantastic Four is that Reed Richards is very egocentric. He is the person that Ian Malcolm discussed when in Jurassic Park, he says, you were so excited you didn't ask if you should. That's the kind of person Reed Richards is. His intellect probably gets well ahead of his emotions in many ways. And I think Pedro Pascal's portrayal of Reed Richards for this movie and for this story worked very well. There was a great chemistry between he and, is it Vanessa Kirby, I believe is her name? I believed the chemistry there. I believed they were a married couple, which is wonderful. We also just recently saw that in Superman. I think, I believe it's Joseph Quinn. I always get his name wrong. But I think he was really good as Johnny Storm. His take on Johnny Storm in this movie was great. I honestly, I was not aware of this actor before Stranger Things, but seeing him in this one, I felt he did make the Human Torch his own. Obviously, Moss-Bachrach, again, too long of a name. Not your fault, buddy. You know, you're born into what you're born into. Did a really good job as the Thing, because he did it with an approach where I don't think anyone else kind of really has, honestly speaking, cinematically, because the Thing is a contradiction. The Thing is a man that is trapped within the body of rock. But look, here's the thing. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Of all of the stuff that's out there promotional for this movie, this was all I was willing to commit to, guys. The what do they call them? The pop character cups. Is this one I couldn't resist, because the entire cup looks like it's made from the Thing, and it's the little pop figure of the Thing on the top. This is all I got, because there's a lot of stuff, guys. Pint glasses, popcorn buckets, the $80 Galactus bucket, you know, that all of these things, great, interesting promotional materials. This, a little bit more affordable, easier to put on your shelf as part of your collection. Although I will admit, since I always 3D print things for content, I will be spending the next 3 days 3D printing the Galactus popcorn bucket. It is a design from our good friends over at do3d.com. But best of all, it is a popcorn bucket that I can also take the bottom off of. And I am sizing it up to fit my head, which means that it is going to probably be one of the larger popcorn buckets that exist. Obviously, the coloring won't be right, and it won't have the LED eyes, but that's fine. The creepiest part is to have the popcorn bucket portion, I have to have nude colored filament so I can print the face that goes into it. But the design is really nice. And the fact that I can also wear it as a helmet, theoretically, I say that because I don't understand, one, how it would be able to effectively rest on my head, because there is a large portion above it. But also, it's going to be, even with 5% infill, it's going to be heavy, because it's got those large side wings. It fully encapsulates the face. You know, you really only kind of see the mouth, and the eyes are covered. But instead of talking about that 3D print, let's talk about Galactus, shall we? I will say, once again, excellent choices made with this movie. When we are first introduced to the character of Galactus, now mind you, cinematically, up until this point, all we've really had is a big cloud that for one moment turned into flame and was the traditional helmet shape that we're used to for Galactus from Rise of the Silver Surfer. But with this, I like what they did creatively, because they don't lose the scope of Galactus, but he is not really fully revealed until, same said, third act of the film. By that I mean that the first time you're introduced to him, you see him in one environment. The next one you see, as you can tell from what we have seen through previews and trailers, you know, there is a point where Galactus does set foot on Earth. The character design is wonderful. What we see on screen looks really, really good. I like that they carried certain audio things that have existed in the past in regards to the MCU, in regards to Galactus. When his eyes flare up, or light up, the sound that they use is very similar to parts of the Power Stone that we have heard, or also like when Loki's scepter that holds the Mind Stone, when that is firing off. You know, there are those certain sounds that are present. When it comes to galactic powers, you know, we hear certain audio bits that we've heard from other elements. Just kind of, to me, it sounds like they're remixed again. But the character itself and the scope of the character, I think, is very It's very well done, and right down to the texture of the surface of the character. And by that I mean that there's a lot going on. It's not just this guy in a various shades of purple and gray costume. You know, there is texture to the surface of Galactus, for lack of a better term. There's color. There's somewhat, I would say, cosmic element to the way he also illuminates. I also, I think Inez's voice as Galactus is very well done. And I think by the way, the other thing I will tell you, it's not really very spoilerish, but I think it's very good. This is not a story that's going to take different turns on you. They have not set you up for any false expectations. Everything that they have released about this movie via a trailer and the like truly tells the story. So it's not going to be a left turn coming at you in this. This really is the story that you expect it to be. The Fantastic Four exist. Galactus is a threat. Wackiness ensues. I think my only complaint that I can really say about this movie is that I think we still needed to see a little bit more in the way of character development for the people that are I would have liked to have seen more of Johnny Storm in this movie. I would have liked to have seen more about the life that Ben Grimm lives. We see some elements of that, him walking around the streets. You see it in the trailers, you see it in the movie. But there's, they even hint at little bits of things, but there's not really a lot there because it's very plot driven. So it's nice that they give us these little interludes, these brief glimpses into the lives of these other characters. But, I'm hungry and waiting for more, and I don't know how much more opportunity we're going to have given the direction of the MCU as we know it. I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, the only things we really have to look forward to now from an MCU perspective are Avengers Doomsday, the next Spider-Man movie, and then Avengers Secret Wars. So I don't know how much of these, of Johnny Storm's life or of Ben Grimm's life we're really going to get more than we have in this movie. That's the problem sometimes with an ensemble where you're also telling what is really a big story. It really is when you think about it, because I think it was Straw Hat Goofy on TikTok, Juju, his name, and he put it best that it's truly at the heart of it a disaster movie, but also it's a superhero movie. It was nice to see that this movie, much like Superman, is quite without asking for any forgiveness, a comic book movie. Straight up. This is not it's not like Winter Soldier, where you are getting an espionage movie that is melded with a superhero movie. It's not Ant-Man, where it is a heist movie that's also a superhero movie. It truly is a comic book movie. Yes, I did compare it to a disaster film, but that is just because of the gravity of the situation that's being played, no pun intended. It is because of the story they're telling, but it is still very much a comic book movie. You drop into the story, boom, there you go. I did not really hit much on the Silver Surfer's design in this movie, but I think the character was represented well. I really liked what we saw from the Silver Surfer's powers that were represented in this movie. Again, I would have liked to have gotten to know that character a little bit more, at least this version of it. H.E.R.B.I.E, I believe, is the name of this particular Silver Surfer. The way the entire movie plays out, though, we at least see some of it. And you can see how it's not really a one-dimensional character. I know it's a 3D dimensional character, but I'm still sure that's more effects laid over the performance as done by, can't remember her name. I'm gonna say it's Julia something. I'm probably right. But honestly, guys, all I can say is, much in the same way that I said of Superman, go see it. Okay? Definitely go see it. It is a good time. If you're the kind of person that doesn't like to spend a lot of money, check your local listings to find out when the less expensive showings are. If you have to, put it off until it's in a second-run theater. But I would definitely encourage you to see this movie. Much in the same way that I encouraged people to see Superman, much in the same way I believed in Thunderbolts as well. I think it is a good, entertaining movie. Obviously, I was, with the 2-hour and 10-minute runtime, the only time I was pressed for the time to go by was waiting between the mid-credit sequence and the post-credit sequence, because I had a beverage. I really needed to use the restroom. Julia Gardner is her name, which, by the way, is I was not familiar with until, what is the name of the Jason Bateman show that was on Netflix where he has to launder money? I can't remember the name of it, but that's where I was first introduced to her. She does a very good job in this movie as a Silver Surfer. The performance, obviously mocap, but very, well, I shouldn't even say that. It's probably a hybrid, but she did a great job as the Silver Surfer. And I appreciated seeing a new version and a new take on the Silver Surfer, because again, we aren't being forced into our perceptions of other things we are seeing. We are being given new and exciting and different ways to take this entertainment in. Man, oh man, just go see it, guys. It's fun. It really is fun. Especially when you consider one of the hokiest characters, honestly speaking, superpower-wise, Reed Richards being, Mr. Fantastic and being flexible and elastic and all that jazz. I think they did very well in this. He doesn't assume any ridiculous shapes like Elastigirl becoming a parachute. It's somewhat grounded. The silliness is somewhat grounded in reality, if you will. Ozark. Thank you very much, Michelle Kuzo, for that one. Ozark. Which, by the way, I still have not seen the end of that show's run. I don't know how I keep putting it off. I know I watched at least 2 seasons of it, but we're not here to talk about that. Is there anything else I can take away from this movie? You know what? If you're going to have a period piece in the Marvel world, bring in Matt Shakman, because he delivers. He delivers quite well. I'm not surprised. The stuff he did with WandaVision, visually speaking, was unique. It was something that honored the times that it was representing, and this movie does that very well as well. It was nice seeing the Baxter Building in some form again. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed also the fact that it truly is a story of the Fantastic Four versus Galactus. You know what I mean? Because when you think about it, these 4 people with their unique abilities up against this being that is beyond a celestial. In the comic books, Galactus is not that of this universe. He is of the reality beforehand, survived the Big Bang, and with the power cosmic was cursed with this eternal hunger, which is why he's the devourer of worlds. And I loved the fact that that's really what this story was. It really was the Fantastic Four versus Galactus. The other thing I will say that I also liked, because I don't think the character has ever received a fair shake, cinematically speaking, before. I really like the way, and it's not really spoilerish, but I will tell you that when it comes right down to it, it truly comes across in almost every action sequence and the like that Sue Storm, the Invisible Girl, is one of the most powerful members of this team. And for some reason, I really like that, because also this is a maternal story. And so if you've got a super being, I really want to have it be where the Mama Claws come out and the Mama Super Claws come out. And I think we see some good representation of that. Not to mention, of course, it's always nice to see strong characters that aren't also forced to do ridiculously stupid shit like fall behind a bar with somebody else and naturally somebody lands between their bosom. Not required. And I just said bosom. Now I'm embarrassed. Oh well. Guys, I don't want to beat a dead horse too much. I think I have made it very clear I really enjoyed this movie. I think they did a great job in telling us elements of the story before we got into it. And I think the story they tell when you're in the room is really good. And if you're like me and you are at the point where you are feeling the pressure of the bladder, really, here's how I'm going to help you. If you haven't seen it yet and you got to go to the bathroom afterwards, right? I'm sorry. I'm just got to dial it back to reality here. You just need to see the mid-credit sequence. That's the one you need to wait for. After that, if you're a completist, I get it. Make a mad dash to the restroom after that happens. You have enough time to at least to release some water and then come back. Just stand there and see it. I wish I had done that because it was driving me mad, my friends, mad. And I will say the payoff at the end for that final one, if you want a comparable, Spider-Man Homecoming, that's all I'll say. It's not of that level, but it's of that like need to see level, if you know what I mean. But definitely go see it. I would highly encourage you to see it. If you haven't seen Superman yet, see that and give Fantastic Four your money the second weekend so they see a good return there. I mean, the funniest part is right now, guys, San Diego Comic-Con is happening, right? And what did we have happen the week of San Diego Comic-Con? Michelle Kuzo saying, I really enjoyed your review and also use of the word bosom. You're welcome. I will say that San Diego Comic-Con's going on, and was there a big thing down in San Diego for the Fantastic Four? No! They wrapped a building. That's what they did. Big Fantastic Four ad. But that world premiere that was on Disney Plus, that was happening back in Los Angeles, guys. And I if you look at like my good friend Kevin Smith, I say loosely, if you look at his schedule, you can go to commiekev.com or you can go to smodcast.com or csmod.com. You can see all of the shows that he has there, but more importantly is the grid at Commiekev that shows where he's going to be because, Disney it appears that Marvel's taken a rest. Which I'm not surprised because, they've got Fantastic Four dropping. And then, like I said, it's just like 2 Avengers movies and a Spider-Man movie. So it's not like they got a lot to tout, right? And I also think that in the world that they live in now, with the revelation in the past 2 weeks that they had in the previous Infinity Saga, they had 50 hours of entertainment. And in the and here in the Multiverse Saga, it's been 127 hours of entertainment. Obviously they're dialing things back. So it's the perfect time not to be announcing future projects, in my opinion. Let's get through these things and then kind of talk about where you're going to go. Yeah. But, I think Disney, who owns all of this stuff now, they're putting all their money into other projects. Because, for example, Kevin is hosting the Predator Badlands is because that's a Fox property, so that's a Disney property. So Predator Badlands, he's hosting that panel. He's also hosting the Tron Ares panel. So like clearly, they know that they need to make some of their money at Comic-Con, but like what are they doing for this? Nothing. And I know that was kind of a similar story. Like, what was it a few years ago? Like, there was a movie that was dropping at the same time Comic-Con was happening, but they were still in Hall H. This time, no. And that's fine. It's okay to take a breather. It's okay to just give us 1 to 2 movies a year. It's okay to just give us 1 TV show a year. Just please make mine Marvel, right? I'm excited to see what James Gunn is doing. We've got Peacemaker Season 2 coming up soon. I'm super excited about Superman. Can't wait to watch that at home again. I may even give it some of my money this weekend or next if it's still around. It's a good time, guys. I'm not saying anyone's back. I'm not saying anyone's cracked the code, but they have definitely helped give us confidence in them again, both DC and Marvel, especially now that we have had 2 successful Marvel movies back to back. And I mean that in the way that the story is. Thunderbolts did not burn the box office up, but I will tell you that over time it is going to be revered as one of the better Marvel films, especially when it has such a wonderful message about mental health. I mean, how can you not, right? Because everybody needs to be mentally healthy. We need to be mentally fortified, and strong. Geek Renderer pointing out in the chat that new season of X-Men 97 soon as well. Yes, even though that's kind of like, that's just like an Elseworld story, which I'm okay with. Keep the television to the television, keep the movies to the movies. I don't care, guys. Just make mine Marvel, okay? So that's it. I'm not going to belabor a point. Remember, hit up thatwilkins.com for all relevant links, or click the link in the show description and use the code ThatWillWilkins at checkout if you want to get up to 5% off your purchase for anything that SliceWorks offers, or if you want to take advantage of the subscription box service, make sure you let them know that we sent you via using our link. So I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, special shout out once again to Mark Wright, this week's Patreon subscriber of the week. Patreon subscribers, by the way, like I said, you guys are getting all your little freebies showing up. Please do me a favor. Make me feel better. You don't have to do it out in public, but like just respond to something in the Patreon to let me know that you got your stuff, because man, you're about to get some bonus content right after I wrap this up to just talk about another comedy of errors. But let's wrap up this comedy of errors now. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen, to watch, whatever. Know you're appreciated. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for spending any amount of time with me. I hope I was able to provide you some useful information to make your decision towards your entertainment in regards to Fantastic Four First Steps or like Superman last week. It's a good time, guys. It's a good time to go to the movies. And I'm happy about that, because I love to escape the hellish reality we all live in. So that's it. Until next time, my name is Will, and theoretically, I'll be back soon.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a Smodcast production. Smodcast Podcast, using our mouths on you since 2007.
I mean, seriously, I don't feel like my head is like grossly large. But look what 8% difference makes. It's absurd. I mean, there's a face in a face. I mean, does my head look that big? Do I look like I should be inflated and dragged down on the parade route for the Macy's Day Parade? I don't think so. I think it's okay, but you know, it ain't small, guys. There's no other way to put it. I'm talking about the size of my head. Gotta be clear. Where are my glasses? That's what I want to know. Where the hell are my glasses? Yeah.